Hey friends, this is Eric the Mind Control Guy. The other day I bought a book, and being that I've been a trucker for over 30 years, I usually don't have the time or pizzazz to read when I get home. But just as the small portion of my library, you see I've got a ton of books. I have more over there. I have a whole bunch of them upstairs. And someday when I get a chance to retire, if the country lasts that long, I'll have something to retire to. I heard about this book mentioned the other day, and I bought it. I also have the Audible version, which on my phone here I download Audible books, and I listen to them going down the road, trying to keep me occupied and entertained, and because I really don't have time to read when I get home. Like I say, I'm just completely out of pizzazz, or I have other things to do, mostly recharge my batteries. But anyway, this book here, The Final Battle, just came out last year in 2022 by Mr. David Horowitz. Now, Mr. Horowitz, years ago, was a leftist for a long time. As the years went by, he later on got disenchanted. Got disenchanted by the left, realizing that they are exactly what people like this feller, Joe McCarthy, said they were. The higher-ups, they use people, deceive people. These young generations full of mush, and even some of the older ones, think that, oh, they're doing the right thing, and they realize that they're just being used as a tool, because they are tools. But this book here, The Final Battle, you want to understand what's been going on for decades. And in, the last, 20 years, less than 20 years, they have really ramped up. They're not even hiding who they are anymore. And all the stuff done back in the 60s, the Weather Underground, stuff's been going on for decades. Here, not too many years ago, out in California, which some of us refer to as California. Now, I grew up out there in Ventura, California, but a lot of us refer to it as California now because so many of their leftist policies. Well, not too many years ago, they decided, they openly said it on the news, didn't hide it. It used to be if you were a known communist, basically like Bernie Sanders, called a socialist. Well, that's what communist light. You weren't allowed to work for the State Department. You weren't allowed to work in government. And then they slowly but surely chipped that away. And now you can. And so, now communists are making policies in every aspect of our life. Is it any wonder why our kids leave home, they go to school, and they come back a bunch of leftist morons? And then the ones that don't buy into all that Marxist, communist, socialist BS. I mean, college campuses, a lot of kids who believe in traditional American values, they can get chased off campus. The very things this man warned us about, warned our ancestors, our grandmas and grandmas and great-grandmas and great-grandpas, grandpas, everybody warned them this was going to happen. Now, a lot of these revisionists say, oh, well, he just jumped on the bandwagon, blah, 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 blah. Well, in the end, Joe McCarthy was right. Every aspect of our society has been infiltrated and influenced by those communist SOBs. This isn't nothing new. This video here, The Red Menace, I just put this movie up on my page here, Eric the Mind Control Guy, on my Facebook page, Eric the Mind Control Guy. And that movie was made back in 1949, 74 years ago. It was just as true then as it is today in 2023. How the left preys on vulnerable people who have been done wrong by one group or another. Veterans Affairs, the VA. I know, they turned me away twice. DAV representative literally told me I was SOL, quote. And, movies like Red Dawn from 1984 and the remake in 2012. And this miniseries here, America, came out in 1986, 12 hours long. You can watch the entire thing on YouTube. This is nothing new. The cover looks kind of rough, but this 1952 movie here, Invasion USA, same thing. But anyway, this book here, The Final Battle by David Horowitz. Look at that flag. You know what that flag? See that flag? That's what they've been wanting to do for decades. And they've outgot it. That book tells in details, all the BS that the left has been doing, chipping away at America for decades. And now we see what's going on. Oh, they talk about, the insurrection. There was no insurrection. The video footage that was finally released, that showed a handful of individuals, mostly who were infiltrators by Antifa. Miss Peggy Hubbard was there, and she said, yeah, the patriots that were there, the real American patriots, the ones that actually work for a living, unlike this woke crowd out here. She was there, and they said, yeah, Antifa and that bunch had infiltrated, and they were a lot of the ones out there doing all the dastardly deeds. The guy they show with the helmet, painted up face and all that, the Viking helmet, they show him just kind of walking around, do. They don't want you to see that footage. But they talk about, this insurrection, we need to do something about that. While Antifa and BLM were for, 3, 4, 5 years, destroying, burning down cities, destroying public and private businesses, attacking monuments and rolling them off into the river. Were any of them even apprehended? Where was the police the whole time? The police were told, stand down, let them do what they want. I go out here and I attack public property, guess what's going to happen to me? I'm going up the river. Yet these leftist woke morons are allowed to do it day in and day out, and that seems to be okay. And anybody who dares stand up to the radical left, the Marxist a-holes out here, they already got it in check. All the words they're going to label you with. And their first go-to word is, you a racist. And all these other just BS words. The woke crowd. The woke crowd has their head so far up their ass that it ain't no wonder BS is the only thing that comes out of their mouth. But this book, The Final Battle, it's just Final Battle, not The Final Battle, but Final Battle by David Horowitz. If you're like me, if you're on the road, you can download it to your phone instantly and listen to it through your headset or through your speakers, however you choose to. If you don't really have the time after you get off work to sit there and read it when you get home. Because I know the woke crowd isn't going to be listening to this. Hell, how many of them actually work and have a real job? That book, though, that explains everything in detail. And it'll just blow your mind. I knew the left was just horrible. I knew their agenda was horrible. I didn't know it was that bad until I read that book. Do yourself a favor, friends. get that book and either read it or get the Audible version and listen to it on your headset during your day or night whenever you work. Uh, Believe me, that book says it all. But this movie here, 1949 movie, I just put on my group site. Eric the Mind Control Guy, The Red Menace, 74 years old. That one there that came out in 1952, 71 years old. And there's countless movies. In fact, a few I just put up on my Facebook page. Again, I think I've put some of the stuff up there in the months past. But anyway, The Red Nightmare, it has a short version and it also has the longer version, The Red Nightmare. All you got to do is look around. It's like, is this what we're living in? You know, the mentality of these people, these young people especially, some of the older ones left over from the 60s, the radicals that are still alive, most of them are in their 70s now, late 60s, early 70s. But the stuff that went on back then, the rhetoric that went on back then is still here today. In fact, in this book here, or this movie here, there is a segment on there later on in the movie where one guy who was lured into it, Henry Solomon is the character, and they have a meeting. And he uses the terms 74 years ago that are still used today in 2023 and have been for some time. Progressive. Not a new word. Progressive. Democrat. All that. And you're just like, the mentality of these Marxist a-holes, these SOBs, is just, you know, I went to school just like anybody else did. And a lot of that BS was not taught, at least when I was in school. Our instructors, at least the class I had, didn't teach that garbage. But for quite some time, it is. I mean, you watch your average TV shows today, and that mirrors our society. And the stuff these leftists push, and they're allowed to push. But anybody who, you know, any teacher out there wants to teach, patriotism and Americanism and what this country was founded upon, you'll be run out. Those people get run out. And so, final battle, this next election, I thought it was going to happen with the last one. Mr. Trump didn't get elected, or I should say the election was stolen, and I still believe that. And one day we'll finally be able to find the evidence for those who have the time and are in that business to go search for it. And how many people are going to be in the know and their conscience gets to them and they're going to blow the whistle and they turn up dead. I wonder how much of that is going to happen. Just like people that had the goods on the Clintons that turned up dead. I got documentaries on that too from when Wild Bill was still in office. All these people that have the goods end up turning up dead once they announce it usually. Hey, we got the evidence. And next thing you know, the evidence disappears and they turn up dead. This movie here, documentary, about 45 minutes or so, you can watch this whole thing on YouTube today. It's called The Crash. The Coming Financial Collapse of America, put out by Jeremiah Films. Good outfit. And this movie was made back in 1994. I stumbled upon it shortly after it came out. Mind-blowing. And they keep raising the debt ceiling, the debt ceiling, the debt ceiling. That's why the crash, as like the Great Depression crash, has not yet to happen. They keep raising the debt ceiling. I can't even fathom $1 trillion. How many trillions of dollars? I mean, you lay dollar bills end to end. I mean, how many times are you going to go to the sun and back? And how many trillions of dollars this country in debt? I can't even fathom that kind of number. It's only a matter of time. And with the dodo bird we have in office now, groping Joe Biden, if you folks haven't prepared, you need to. Because before this idiot is out of office, and especially with the next election coming up, this might be our final battle. I mean, possible nuclear war, long prophesized nuclear war. What could happen to this country? What could happen to the world? You know, and the left just won't give it up. A lot of the folks from the right, after a while, they just run out of steam. They get tired of fighting. With the left, they never quit. I don't know what the hell they hope to accomplish. The whole planet be a third world rat hole. I'm just one person out here with a voice. But anyway, the reason I made this video, like I say, that book, The Final Battle, get that book. Whether you get the paperback, the hardback, the Audible, get it, listen to it, read it. That book covers it all, and you will be blown out of your chair. Anyway, I got to get, so you take care, friends. And if you really want to know, that book says it all. Take care. Eric the Mind Control Guy, signing off.